So, John, we were talking before we got on the air, and I think it's worth just carrying that conversation forward a little bit. There is there seems to be a movement or a stirring, and I don't think it's coordinated. I think it's just observation by several people who are good critical thinkers. There's an observation by people like Michael Easter, who wrote the book Comfort Crisis, by some of our friends over at the Daily Wire, by people like Mike Rowe, our friend Mike Rowe. Seems to be a separation in our culture right now, and a recognition of this like never before, between the people who are willing to work and sacrifice and have mental or physical calluses on your mind because you push through, you persevere through something stressful, on your hands literally because you're doing like real work, versus quiet quitting, versus I'm going to work from home, which means I don't work much. I'm not really working from home. There's pretty much two categories of people. All the data is starting to show us people that work from home. There are those that work way too much, like become workaholics at home. They don't quit. They get up from dinner, abandon their kids, go back to their screen, and keep working all night. And then there are those that work like 2 hours a day and call that a full-time job and play with their children in the middle of the floor while they're supposed to be working. But there's this group of people that are bent on mediocrity. They're bent on doing as little as possible. They are bent on just getting by. They are bent on trying to, quote, cheat the system and someone else take care of them. And then there's this group of people that are kind of, I guess, old school, that are working, that have work ethic, that are leaning in, and they can be of any age group. It is not a generational thing. I saw somebody today railing on Gen Z. It's not Gen Z. Because I'm meeting boomers that are doing these exact same crap, one way or the other. But in a culture where an unusually large percentage has decided to do little or nothing, if you're willing to do a lot, you're going to stand out.
Oh man,
you got chance for success like never before in our world.
Right. I go all the way back to. I actually, and maybe I'm crazy, or I'm overly optimistic, my wife says sometimes. I think we got here with good intentions. You remember back in the 70s and 80s, there were some studies done that showed, man, these folks who are CEOs and leaders, they've got good self-esteem. And so what we need to give these kids in elementary school is we just need to tell them how great they are all the time. So they have good self-esteem. And what we missed after...
And then the participation trophy was born.
That's right. Everybody's going to feel good about themselves, and then they'll all become like that. And what we missed is, no, they became like that because they failed a lot, and they got hit in the mouth a lot, and they kept persevering, and they had people around them that walked alongside them. Similarly... Man,
I just put a thing on Instagram. Everyone wants to win the Super Bowl, but nobody wants to get tackled by a 350-pound man.
And that's Tom Brady got hit a whole bunch.
Yeah,
right.
It's like
and his lineman got hit way more.
It's like getting hit by a Kia. I mean, really. I mean, It's just. But I want to win the Super Bowl. But I don't want any dirt under my fingernails, and I don't want to hear my joints creak.
I think it's the old Bobby Knight quote. Everyone wants to win the championship. Nobody wants to practice real hard. Yeah. Right? And you don't put that time in. And I think we have a culture of folks who they don't have a picture of what that gap looks like. And now I actually think it sounds old school, but I'm seeing it in the medical science and in the mental health science. It's a new wave of people coming in saying, oh, our bodies can't exist without stress and tension. It can't exist without having something to push up against. You don't go to the gym and lift a ribbon. You got to put weight on that bar. Otherwise, your body never grows. You don't get stronger. And so I think we have to teach a whole generation of people, here's how to get back up.
You know what part of it is, too? I mean, you used to get dopamine hits from stress and from leaning into something.
Oh, dude.
Lifting,
the
pushing.
Anticipation. Yeah,
now you get dopamine hit from...
Everywhere.
From, this magic wand in your hand.
Oh, dude, yes.
You got a magic wand in your hand that gives you dopamine hits all day long that aren't but there's no real stress associated with it. And so there's this atrophying of character that has occurred.
And I used to tell my students, when Martin was marching across the bridge, Dr. King, the assumption was you're going to get killed doing this, and we're going anyway. That's different than the thumb warriors, I call them, like launching their grenades via social media. Like, there's this lack of, hey, dude, if you're going to get in the arena, you're going to get hurt. And that's part of the whole game. You can't sit on the outside of the arena and pretend you participated, right? You got to get in there, and that means you're going to get knocked down.
And if there is no toughness, there is no perseverance. If there is no calluses, there is no perseverance. And if there is no perseverance, there is no success, and then the self-esteem. Not the self-esteem and then.
And what you can't do, Dave, you can't lie to your body. You can tell yourself you're the toughest guy in that room. You can tell yourself, I can do it. Your body knows we're not ready for this. And
you're fluffy.
There's a gap, right? It's like, I could do that. Your body's telling you, I don't think we can, man. I don't think we can.
Don't do that.
And so, man, get some true, real experiences underneath your belt.
So when in doubt, bust up into something.
Yes.
When in doubt, overdo it.
Yes.
When in doubt, activity, not passive.
Right. We have a culture that's overthinking everything. Get out and start doing, man. Get out and start doing and fail.
And quit trying to figure out the macroeconomic Marxist angle on something.
Yes, go get a job, dude.
Yeah, just go work. Just
go
work.
What's that line your grandma had? I loved.
There's a great place to go when you're broke, to work. You know, I mean, man. That's just that. But that's old school right there. And here's the thing. It's also new school because really there is no success without it.
Right.
There is no success in your marriage unless you're intentional and you work at it. Doesn't sound very romantic.
Every day.
But you got to, when I got married, I didn't know beans. I've read like 100 marriage books, I think. I started raising kids. I didn't know what I was doing. I started reading parenting books. Without doing it on purpose, without some lifting, without some stress, without some push, which always involves a callus as developing, there is no success. So
there's no strength. There's no growth.
Quit looking for the Amazon Prime for your life.
Take the hard path.
You can push a button and crap shows up on your porch.
Take the hard path.
Okay, that's not how life really works. If you've been trained by this magic wand in your hand to not lean into the strenuous activities, take that thing and drop your heel down on it and crush it and go lean into some strenuous activities. This is where the best parts of life come from.